everybody, and welcome again to the Mid-Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman, and we have Tamera Nielsen with us right now. And Tamera, it's good to have you here from inView LLC. Start out, tell us a little bit about that company.
Thanks, Chris. For about 30 years, I've been a business development consultant, and I've recently turned over to launching a life-altering trauma consulting business, which is a brainchild of mine from having overcome traumatic events and adversity in my own world. And I specialize in working one-on-one, mainly with professionals who've been diagnosed with a life-threatening illness. And I'm not a coach or a counselor or even a healthcare provider, but I'm an objective advisor, and I help them navigate through their traumatic event with the least amount of drama as possible.
Wow. Yeah. That's you've got to see some kind of strange cases, because I would think everything would be pretty unique.
It is. Each person's situation is specifically different, and that's why I pay attention to doing it one-on-one and paying attention to their business or their career, their familial unit, the particular stage at which their disease has progressed, for instance, and where they want to go in their life and what their age is, all that. I provide all the research and provide them as much information as possible to make informed decisions to live healthier and get through it with
and get through it, confront the issue.
And get through with the least amount of drama.
Yeah.
It doesn't need to be traumatic, and
Right.
it's hard because the family or even the person, when they're diagnosed with something, the first thing you want to do is fear. It's scary, of course, and you don't necessarily make objective, rational decisions. It's difficult. So
I have that problem in normal times. So
tell me, right?
You have a fundraiser coming up.
Yes, I do, and I'm helping to raise awareness and funds for Ellie's Place. Ellie's Place is pretty well known, but their TLC program, which is called Together Learning to Cope, is not as well known as their other program. Together Learning to Cope provides support services for children who are coping with a family member's life-threatening illness. And on January 11th at Everybody Reads Books and Stuff, we will be selling my book, hopefully, to raise funds for Ellie's Place. And at the very least, we'll be raising awareness.
Did you bring your book with you? I was going to hold it up and do a kind of a visual here.
Where's the copy I gave you?
It's a great book. Well, it's on my book stand. Where do you think it is?
Oh, very good.
All right. So how did you get involved in all this with Ellie's?
Well, actually, one of my book reviewers, Roy Saber has been a supporter of Ellie's for a long time, and he introduced me to them, and so I'm not
Saper Galleries, by the way, for anybody.
Saper Galleries, East Lansing. That's right, and I got involved with the fundraiser by way of I decided to do a fundraiser with Scott Harris at Everybody Reads Books. And this all came about because of the book I published and getting introduced to Scott Harris by way of our dear friend Jack Ebling, and it wasn't a friendly little nudge. It was more like a shove you off
Get
the
over
cliff.
there and
In fact, you made the call for me. You need to talk to him. So so I'm very grateful to Scott Harris and Jack Ebling for supporting the book, because I'm not a frontline person at all. I'm used to promoting everyone else's business.
Listen,
so
we've talked about this before. If you've got something good, you got to get out with it. You have an obligation.
I know.
So you do a lot of one-on-one. How do people get a hold of you? Because you are kind of under the radar for the most part.
Yes, TameraNielsen.com, and I'm on Facebook. You can type in my name. I'm an expert author on this type of thing through e-zine.
So listen, anecdotally, tell me, for someone that's sitting out there and saying, I've got this condition, or I've just heard about this, who should be calling you? Who should your client be?
Anyone who is diagnosed with a life-threatening illness or a chronic disease, or someone who's maybe struggling with their concerns about dealing with health issues, or even traumatic events. I recently worked with a baby boomer who is moving his mother back home from out of state, and I've written several articles about this and all the various elements that go along with that. That's also a traumatic event. A lot of things can change, and as you may well know, this affects many aspects of your life, business and the familial unit. So I help them walk through those.
Absolutely. Well, well worth the time, and especially if you're in that circumstance. Tamera, thanks so much for joining us. Tamera Nielsen, inView LLC, and they can get a hold of you one more time.
TameraNielsen.com.
There you go. That's easy enough to remember. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks
Good
so
to see
much,
you.
Chris.
All right, and thank you for being with us on the Mid-Michigan Business Beat. I'm Chris Holman.